People who didn't get haircuts before COVID-19, what are your plans when your hair gets too long?
Complain and wait.
I'm mostly bald, I shave my head. It's my time to shine.
Get my sew to cut it. If it gets messed up, who cares, its hair, it will grow out.
I don't trust my mom to cut my hair after the ear incident. I'll wait.
I've actually removed all the hair on my entire body and been completely covering myself in hand sanitizer.
Braid it. Beard and hair both.
Serious, when did COVID-19 get real for you?
When my first patient tested positive and I realized I had been in that room without PPE.
When I realized that if my mother, who is 70 but generally healthy, falls ill, I can't get to her because that would involve air travel.
When my boss told me that I will be working from home for 12 weeks.
When I went grocery shopping for the first time in several days last week, and many of the shelves were completely empty.
Replacing their name with a drunk guy/girl at the bar. What's the craziest thing your pet has ever done?
A drunk guy at a bar ate a bunch of crayons and was shitting rainbow-colored crap on the floor.
A drunk guy at the bar climbed into my pants while I was peeing and meowed at me.
A drunk guy stayed out all night, then showed up the next morning with some little drunk girl who he then proceeded to move into our house. She's still there, over 10 years later.
A drunk guy ate all my toilet paper.
A drunk guy at the bar took a fat shit on the sink drain.
A drunk girl at the bar fell down the stairs, shit on the floor, ran back up the stairs, then fell back down the stairs into their own shit.
I had to pull a long hair out of the ass of some drunk guy at a bar.
What are you most looking forward to doing once we get on the other side of this pandemic?
Be able to go places. Not actually going, just being able to.
A vacation since I don't get to stop working now. This has really driven home how asocial I had really become. My schedule has literally not changed. I realized that I really need to get out and change that. Getting my hair cut.
Not wondering if my mild chest pain is the coronavirus or just anxiety from the coronavirus.
I want to hug everyone.
Sitting in my local with a nice pint of Guinness watching football. I will never take that for granted again.
People who grew up rich but turned out poor. What is your story?
Dad went to jail for housing fraud in 2010. I was in my teens and $10 million were seized. Went from a $800,000 house to homeless in 4 days because our family didn't even know he'd been in court for 2 years. Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
What is something you wished you knew before having sex?
Demand a condom. People lie all the time. Don't risk your life and your future on somebody's word.
That is not that big of a deal. I spent the first 20 years of my life completely obsessed with it. It's great, but I should have given my arm a break. That I left the car in neutral.
That I had a latex allergy.
Pee after. It does not equal love.
Should have bought a dozen condoms and figured out how to put it on. I went through like 4 before I got the damn thing on.
If immortality was granted to 1 million individuals worldwide, what would be a fair selection process?
So if you're young, do you physically age?
I'd make sure they actually want to live forever first.
Russian roulette. Randomly choose 500,000 people who each get a +1. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
fight to the death to see who is worthy.
What's your favorite joke that no one ever laughs at?
What do you call a Frenchman in sandals? Flip-flop.
My favorite time on the clock is 6:30. Hands down. So underappreciated by my husband, family, and friends.
Guy yells to a stranger across the river, "I need to get to the other side." Stranger yells back, "You are on the other side."
Look up at the ceiling. That's a pretty good ceiling. It's not the best, but it's up there.
3 logicians walk into a bar. The bartender asks, "Does everyone want a beer?" The first logician says, "I don't know." The second logician says, "I don't know." The third logician says, "Yes."
One of my best friends is 7 days younger than me. Whenever we disagree on something, I tell her she'll understand when she's my age. She never finds that funny.
Serious, Redditors who have COVID-19, what is it like?
Just started Z-Pack today to help prevent a lung infection. Throat feels like I swallowed glass and chest hurts when I take a deep breath. Energy low and talking takes my breath away. So far not as bad as expected.
Great aunt was in a nursing home briefly because she had pneumonia. Contracted corona and passed away today. Long Island, NY.
Therapists of Reddit, what's the worst mental health advice you've seen a movie or TV therapist give?
Not a movie, real life. My friends shared their suicidal thoughts and the motherfucker started going off about reincarnation. Some therapist they turned out to be.
Not advice per se, but I hate when media portrays people with chronic mental illness, psychosis, bipolar disorder, as violent. A small percentage can be. Not a therapist, but my mom is. She says that most therapists portrayed in TV violate tons of rules and it annoys her to no end. And she's never seen a good therapist on TV ever, apparently. Is anyone in the comment section actually a therapist?